Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about our HKUST Net Zero Action Plan and how that might impact some of the work that we're doing going forward. The action plan was approved in 2024, and the provisions are now active. So all the parts of the action plan need to be abided by. The target date for the action plan is 2045, which seems like a long way off, but we need quite a bit of time to get there because we do actually have quite a large footprint. So, what does that footprint look like? We have roughly 42,000 tons of emissions from this last year. The emissions are typically counted in terms of scope one, scope two, and scope three. Scope one means that we are buying the fuels, we use the fuels, and we're completely responsible for any of the emissions that come out. Scope two means that we are using electricity. Now, again, we definitely have 100% control over whether we use the electricity or not, but we don't have any control about the fuel that goes in to generating that electricity. For us, those decisions are made by CLP. But as you can see, 96% of our emissions are coming from electricity, so that becomes the focus of our net zero action plan. So, what does net zero actually mean? Well, we say that net zero refers to a state in which the total amount of greenhouse gases emitted into the atmosphere is balanced by an equal amount of greenhouse gases that have been removed from the atmosphere. So, let's try to visualize that. Imagine you can see emissions going into the atmosphere. Unfortunately, we can't. Greenhouse gas emissions are invisible. But just imagine for a second that we could actually see the emissions going up as little blobs. Our first goal would be to slow down those emissions as much as we possibly can, or even stop them altogether. If we could stop them, we would reach a state of net zero, where we would reach a state of zero. However, how about if we can't stop them altogether? Well, at that point, we'll have to remove an equal amount from the atmosphere, pull them out, store them in a way that ensures that they can't come back out into the atmosphere to create more damage in the future. By removing carbon, an equal amount that we're emitting, that allows us to reach a state of net zero carbon. So the action plan that we have, it proceeds in five strategic areas. The first one is that we will require all new buildings to be designed and operated as net zero buildings. Number two, for our existing buildings, we need to invest aggressively in energy conservation, renewables, and other decarbonization methods. Number three, we recognize that there will be some damage that's caused by the climate change because it's already started. So we need to harden our campus and make sure that we have adaptation measures that are designed to improve our resilience to the changing climate. Number four, since we are a university and our core competency is in research and teaching, then we have plans for how we can use our research capabilities to try to develop new and innovative net zero and skill building components. And then fifth, we have to create some sensible cost recovery mechanisms. We recognize that this won't be free. It will take some investments on our part. So the fifth part of our action plan is how do we generate the revenue and then how do we spend that? So in the next video, I'll get into more of the details about the action plan area number one, which is requiring all new buildings to be designed and operated as net zero buildings.